All right, let's get right into it. When you picture global shipping, you're probably thinking about those huge container ships stacked high with boxes, right? But what about the deck underneath all those containers? Well, there's a piece of engineering there that is absolutely crucial, but almost nobody ever thinks about it: the hatch cover. And believe me, these are not just simple steel lids. They are these incredibly precise, powerful guardians that literally make modern trade possible.
So to really get why they're so important, you gotta start with the problem. Just look at this. This is the deck of a cargo ship with its hatches wide open. You can see these massive, deep caverns just totally exposed to the sky. Now imagine this ship is in the middle of a storm in the North Atlantic with gigantic waves crashing over the deck. All of that cargo, billions of dollars worth of it, is just vulnerable. It's at the mercy of salt water, rain, and the pure force of the ocean.
And here's the solution. It's the same ship's deck, but now it's been transformed into this seamless, solid landscape of steel. The hatch covers are locked in place, and they've created a totally weather-tight seal that protects everything down below. That transformation, right there, is the #1 job of a hatch cover: keep the ocean out of the boat.
So what is it technically? Well, the official definition is a steel structure that stops water from getting into the cargo hold. Simple enough. But check out that second part. It's also a supporting structure for deck cargo. What that really means is this thing has to be strong enough to not only fight off the sea, but also to hold up millions and millions of pounds of containers stacked right on top of it. It's doing two incredibly demanding jobs at once.
Okay, so now that we know what they do, let's get into the really cool part: how they do it. There are a few key designs, and we're going to start with the most straightforward one of all. This is the lifting type.
I mean, you can think of this as basically the world's biggest, heaviest, strongest Tupperware lid. Just like the name says, these covers are literally just lifted straight up and off the hatch opening by a crane. It's a very direct, brute force kind of approach, but it is incredibly effective. But what's really smart about these is how they're used. These lift-away covers aren't usually one giant piece. They're often made of several independent panels. That's a huge advantage because it means you can open just one section of the hold if you need to. Now, because they totally rely on cranes, you're pretty much only going to see these on container ships, where you've always got those massive cranes on the dock or on the ship itself as part of the whole operation. It's just a perfect marriage of the right tool for the right job.
Okay, next up, we've got a system that's a little more complex and, I gotta say, way cooler to watch in action. Let's talk about the folding type, or as I like to call it, hydraulic origami.
So instead of being lifted off, these covers fold up on themselves. It's almost like a giant metal accordion or a clamshell opening up. You have these two massive panels that are hinged in the middle, and they get peeled back by incredibly powerful hydraulics. It's really a beautiful piece of heavy-duty engineering.
You see these systems a lot on general cargo ships, and they have to be just unbelievably powerful. I mean, the panels themselves are enormous. They weigh tons and tons, so it takes a staggering amount of hydraulic force to lift and fold them up into place.
And this diagram gives you a fantastic look at how it works. You can see the key parts right here. These huge hydraulic cylinders on the outside provide that initial muscle. Then you have something called a bell crank, which helps transfer that force. And the whole thing pivots on hinges and rolls up on these lifting wheels. It's this complex little dance of levers and hydraulics, all working together to move tons of steel with precision.
All right, let's move on to our third major category, which kind of builds on that idea of a self-contained system. This is the rolling type.
So if the lifting type is a simple lid and the folding type is an accordion, then the rolling type, well, it's like a massive horizontal garage door for a ship. The panels just slide open, either to the side of the ship or to the end of the hatch, clearing the way for cargo operations really smoothly and efficiently.
The basic idea here is really simple. The panels have wheels, and the wheels run on a track. Now, depending on the ship's design, they can either roll longitudinally, that's end-to-end along the ship, or they can roll athwart-ship, which is just the nautical way of saying side to side. It all comes down to what's the most efficient way to use the deck space on that particular vessel.
This diagram gives us a great close-up of the moving parts. You can see the wheel box where the wheels are housed, you can see the rail it slides on, and then you see these things called cleats. Now, the cleats are absolutely critical. Those are the locks. They clamp the cover down and create that perfectly watertight seal when the hatch is closed. There's also this really neat variation called roll stowing. You'll see this mostly on smaller vessels, like river barges. In this system, a crane actually lifts each panel up and then stacks it neatly at one end of the cargo hold. It's a really clever hybrid, kind of combining the ideas of both lifting and rolling to save space.
So, after looking at all this incredible machinery, the lifting, the folding, the rolling, it starts to become really clear that we're talking about something much more than just spare parts on a ship.
And that's really the main takeaway here. Hatch covers are truly the unsung heroes of the global supply chain. They are not just steel lids. They are these dynamic, highly engineered systems that are responsible for protecting trillions of dollars in goods every single year. Let's be honest, without their strength, their precision, and their reliability, the global trade that we all depend on, it just couldn't happen.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other seemingly simple machines are out there, just hiding in plain sight, quietly making our entire modern world possible?